Hey everybody, welcome back. As promised, here's tutorial number 2. We are going to do a waving starfish. I'm going to do a purple starfish today, but you can do whatever color you want. Works better if you use a darker color. Like you can do like a deep orange or a deep red or a deep blue. As long as it's darker, we can lighten it up in the center and make it pop off the rock. So I'm on a bit of a 3D kick right now. I'm still in practice. I'm not a professional painter. I am always learning, and what I've taught myself, I want to share with you guys. So I am drawing a starfish. If you need to pause it, you might not like the shape of mine. I'm going to lift up one of the arms on it so that it's waving at us today. I'm going to erase all of my mistake lines as well. Because I didn't like the shape that I first started off with pencil. So I will be erasing a lot of that and you'll see the shape come together. I'm outlining with a very fine lining brush. My tutorial for that brush is in the description. If you can't find it, check out all of my tutorials. It will be there. Now I'm just outlining it just so you guys can see the shape a little bit better. And I'm going to have a little bit lifted up on this one bottom left side. It's just going to lift up a slight amount as well. But it's really just waving at us today. So I'm going in, erasing all of my pencil lines. And of course, I was going to use violet, but I decided again to use a darker purple instead of the violet pansy, but I might incorporate a bit of violet pansy in the center. So I'm outlining a nice, thick, dark outline of the eggplant purple. Now I'm going to use a sponge. Any sponge works as long as it's small enough that you can stay inside the lines, kind of like a coloring book. But so yes, these are Martha Stewart, sponge daubers, and they work excellent for, blending in colors together, or even for filling in a nice space with a nice even, texture looking to it. There's, no paint lines, no brush lines, brush strokes. So it kind of helps with different projects that you're working on. I like it with this one because I'm going to be blending in a lighter color in the center of all of these spots so that you can see it kind of makes it 3D. You'll see as we go along. So really, each arm is going to look like it's a little thicker and it's raised up off the rock a little bit because we're going to do some shading techniques that I've taught myself. So I'm just going in and making sure that the outer part of each arm on my sea star or starfish, I'm making sure that the outer part is always darker. So you might have to do more than one coat. You might have to let it dry and go over it again, doing the exact same thing. But I'm making sure that I want to leave a lighter in the center of the arms and lighter in the center of the starfish itself. And you'll see all the techniques I'm doing here actually help raise this starfish up into a 3D form. So it's really cool. Now I've got some bad news, guys. I won't be using any gold today. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm not using gold, but I'm not sorry. This one today is going to be glittery and it's going to be shiny, but we're going to skip the gold today. And I promise to put gold on my next one because you know, I'm a fan. I am definitely a fan. So I'm just going to keep going here. I'm having to do a couple of different coats of the dark purple, but you can see I'm kind of leaving lighter in the center a little bit. You'll notice it more because I'm going to add a little bit of white to my purple, mix and mingle those two together, and then I'm going to keep blending it so that it just kind of looks a little bit lighter, and it's not like a straight line of white. You got to make sure you blend it in with the purple, and you can go back and forth, purple, white, And make sure your paint is wet while you're trying to blend it, because it does not smudge or move anywhere once it's dried too much. So you might have to keep dipping back into that purple and keep going back and forth until you get it right. It does take practice. But as long as you lighten just the center of the sea star and the arms, down the center of the arms, you can already kind of see it makes it look like a chubby little starfish. It starts coming alive right in front of you. And I do need new glasses, so if it's not looking this way to you guys, it could be just my imagination. Just gonna leave you with that. So I am blending as much as I possibly can. Any sponge works. Any sponge is great for blending. Don't forget that. Just make sure it's not too big for the space that you're blending. So in the end, this starfish isn't really a dark eggplant purple because we are lightening it up a lot. But it does take time to blend, and take your time with it. It's so worth it when it's done. Like this does take me a couple of hours to do just the blending part at times, depending on how well my day is going and how good my cats and kids and husband are being. But yeah, it does take me a little while. So don't rush it. Nothing beautiful comes real easy. I'll tell you that. Nothing gorgeous comes easy. And you're going to love this so much. It's going to be the cutest little chubby starfish waving at you. And it's adorable. You'll see. You might have seen a blue one that I posted just to kind of give you guys a little hint of what the next tutorial was going to be. You will see that little blue guy at the end of this tutorial. So it's taken me a while to blend each arm. Make sure you go back and darken up around the edges of each arm so that it does look like it's a little puffy, right? You can see it now, right? Wait till we do the shading. That's the cool part. So with the lifted up arm here where he's waving at us, I'm using the white and purple mixed together to make a lighter purple. So this isn't a new color. It's just a white added to the purple until I got this light color here. So that just kind of helps it to see that's what the underneath looks like. The underneath of our starfish looks just like that. Now I'm doing a little bit of a curl up here on this arm. So there's a little bit of light there as well. And then I'm outlining it with black with a very fine brush. Just so that defines everything. And my tutorial for this brush, of course, will be in the description. And once you've outlined everything, just make sure you let that black outline dry. Make sure everything is dry before we do the next steps. And if you don't like the way I've shaped my starfish, you can add as many arms as you want. Some sea stars have actually like 40 arms. So it's up to you how many you want. I'm just doing like the kind that I'm most familiar with, which has 5 arms and it looks like a star. And they're chubby and they're cute. So I'm going in with a small blending brush and I'm just putting a little bit of white in here just to kind of define that underneath a little bit, lightening up just the center of it. And you don't want too much paint. When you're blending, make sure you pounce off excess paint off of your daubers or your sponges. Always get the excess stuff off before you start blending, or else you just got a big sloppy mess of wet paint everywhere and it's just not going to do what you want it to do. So once you've let the black outline dry, get out your nail glitter. Or any kind of glitter that you want to use. I like nail shell powder or chrome powder. I will leave the link in the description to Amazon where I get mine. I used a purple glitter over the whole thing, but now I'm using like a chrome white. It's like a white glitter, but it goes on your nails like chrome. So I'm going to call it chrome glitter. And what I'm doing is I'm just running it down the center, the lightest parts of the purple, on the light parts, not close to the edge, just on the light parts. And then the shading. I've mixed a little bit of water with black paint to make sure that it's really watery, because we want it to be very transparent. If you did my butterfly tutorial, sparkling butterfly, this is also how I did the shading on that. So this is a very white Santorini stone. I'll leave the link in the description for where I purchased mine. Beautiful, beautiful stones to work on. You can do this on any stone. The lighter the rock, the better the shading works out. And I'm just going along the bottom part, or the right part of each arm, just so it looks like the sun is kind of shining on the top there, but there is a shadow there. It brings it right up off the rock. And you can pause it so that you can do your shading just like mine, if yours is shaped like mine. Don't forget, if you change the shape, there's going to be some different shading that you need to do. Notice the shading I did with the arm where it's waving at us. You've got to make sure that you include that little part there. Now I've outlined it all with black again, because just in case you get sparkles or anything else on the black part, you want to define that black part again. So I've outlined it, and now I'm using a nail dotting tool. You can use anything. Toothpicks work great, like I just showed you. The ends of your paintbrushes, depending on how tiny they are. You can use lots of things. So I'm just kind of doing dots in the center and dots along the edge of the lighter color to define that lighter color again. This also helps to make this kind of pop off the rock a little bit. Raises it up. It defines that whiter area, the lighter area where we put the chrome sparkles. And I'll tell you, it's really hard to get the best view of this through a camera. I promise you, this looks amazing in person. All of my stones, I promise you, the pictures do not do them justice, and neither do the videos. So definitely, once this is sealed with resin, it sparkles like absolute crazy. And I just put a little bit of that chrome powder on the inside of the waving arm as well, just in the center. So it's very sparkly. It's beautiful. I forgot to shade this arm here, so I'm just going to quickly shade that arm. There we go. Twinsies. You might recognize that blue one. Now it is resined. I love you guys. Thank you for being such an awesome, rock solid family. I love you all. You're amazing. Keep painting and keep sharing so that everybody can paint with us too. Love you.